y'all, it's Hope at Crafty Hope. Welcome! It is time for the week 27 mixed media prompt project for hashtag Crafty Hope prompts. This is a challenge I started for myself and have opened up for anybody else who wants to play along. I am just about just over halfway through it on week 27. But you're welcome to join now. You don't have to do it in order or any of those things. It's just about using some of the things that you may have in your stash and getting inspired by them. This week is a doozy. So each Monday, I draw 3 prompts from my list of 156 prompts and then alter a playing card. This is in order that I may build a prompt deck that I might use later. Maybe bring it in next year. I don't know yet. We'll see how we play with this. But this is the card I created for week 27. I drew the prompts chalk, magazine, and drip and made this card with those 3 prompts. Now it is Saturday and I'm going to do my larger project using those same 3 prompts. Like I said, you're welcome to play along. You can find the full list of 156 prompts below. You've got to click that more button. They've got it kind of hidden now, but click that more button. It'll expand it with more information, links, all kinds of stuff, list of materials, all of that. But you're welcome to play along. Use the prompts that I have drawn, or like I said, use my prompt list below and play, make something. If you do, use the hashtag CraftyHope prompts so that I can hopefully find you. Also tag me. That's the easiest way for me to find you, because sometimes those algorithms hide those posts from me. I don't know why. But anyway, let's do this. So this week for my project, I think I am going to work in a junk journal. We'll get to that in a minute. Let me tell you what I've pulled out. Now, if you saw my video on Monday, you saw how I combined chalk and drip using just some plain chalk and dripping some gold acrylic ink into it, and it did this whole like granulation thing that I think is pretty awesome. And I want to try that again, maybe not with the gold, but definitely with the chalk, and see if I can get it to do something. We're gonna see. That'll be later. But I also had several suggestions from a couple of you to use chalk paint. Y'all, I didn't even think about chalk paint, and so I think that is a fabulous idea. So I have some of this. All of mine I think is Waverly, because it's just bought at like Walmart. This one I'm pretty sure is okay. I don't even, oh, maybe if I can get it open. Yeah, that one still looks like it's liquid. It's a little dried up. And this is why I haven't used them, is I forgot about them. And this is why I didn't think about listing it. But, okay, so I might use these. We'll see. We'll see what condition these are in. They may get worked in. Then for magazine, where did I put my magazine? I have a Vogue. Again, that was in my my Saturday post, my Monday post. What date is it, y'all? I don't even know. I have a Vogue that I've cut a bunch of stuff out of, and I pulled this image just now. I may pull something else out if this doesn't work, because I think I want to do a magazine image transfer using packing tape. So yeah, we're gonna maybe try that if it'll work in this journal. We'll see. If these are too big, I'll get another image or whatever. We'll figure it out. And then for drip, like I said, probably gonna bring some of the acrylic ink in with the chalk and try that drip. But I might also do some other drippy things. We'll see. We'll see. Probably gonna be some coffee splatters. Who knows? We'll see in a second. So the junk journal that I am going to use is going to be this Rusted Roots journal that I made from Michelle of Mickelnay. Has this tutorial on I believe it's the Southern Girls Academy site. I will try to put all of those links below. But I made this beautiful journal. I never use it, and so I think I've only got a couple pages in it done. 1, 2, and 3. That is all that is done in it. So yeah, it needs to be used. I think I'm going to use this page with this rusty ledger paper here. I started with some collage. I've got my bucket of scraps there, and I'm pulling out just some real basic things. I get book pages, anything that's kind of monochromatic. I didn't want a whole lot of a statement, but let's see, I've got a little piece that I've got some mark making on, and a dictionary paper, and a reproduction series in Roebuck and some sewing pattern paper. So that I have pulled out. And I started to use my Oohoo glue stick on it, but I changed my mind and decided that no, I would rather go ahead and use this acrylic matte medium and a paintbrush to stick this down. Now, I am not going to cover all of that beautiful rusty ledger paper. Don't worry about it. I just kind of wanted a little bit of texture to this background, and I love me a little bit of dictionary paper on anything. If you saw my Thrifty Thursday haul, I'll put a link to that on this just a couple days ago. I got a massive new dictionary, but I've already got like 5 of them in my stash. But yeah, I do love the dictionary paper, so I'm gonna stick that down. And I stick in also, like I said, this is a reproduction Sears and Roebuck catalog that I have that is like newsprint type paper. And I really liked like the letters, the big letters that are in this one. So I'm going to have to keep that in mind. I'm trying to pay attention a little bit more as I work to what parts are appealing to me and what I'm enjoying collaging with, rather than keeping every single scrap that I ever have. What are the scraps that I'm really enjoying? So dictionary paper, obviously, and then like I said, the large letters here in this. And I've got this strip of some kind of book paper that I had used some extra paint or something on to just make some marks. And yeah, I'm going to futz around with that. And then I've got that sewing pattern paper, and I'm not going to use that whole piece there, but what is great about sewing pattern paper, it's like tissue paper, y'all. And I love the like brown distress color because it kind of adds some age to it. But it is great for adding texture. So you can see I put a bunch of that matte gel down, and then I scrunched up that sewing paper. So it's going to add some texture to this. So yeah, scrunching it, sticking it in, going back over it with that matte medium. And I'm going to do it in a couple spots just to get it. And because it's so thin, the papers I've put in the background are still there. You can still see them, and that's awesome. So I'm pretty happy with that I went ahead and did that. All right, so I'm going to get that dried real quick so that is less sticky for my next thing. And I'm going to go ahead and come in with some of that chalk paint. I'm using this Waverly one. I think the color is Lagoon. And I'm just going to scoop it out and put it into my palette and then spray some water on it, because I decided to go ahead and add my drip with this chalk paint. And y'all, I made some discoveries with the chalk paint in this project, so I'm kind of excited. This one, it's not the big discovery, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get my drip in, get my chalk in, and I'll get drip and chalk in other ways as well. But so I'm putting some of this chalk paint right there around on the page, and then again I will spray it. I think, I'm going to grab a towel first to put underneath so anything that drips, I can go ahead and catch it. So I'll drip this a bit, and it doesn't need, it needs a little bit of help, so I'll grab my big paintbrush there to just extra water it down and let it drip. And I'm making sure it gets into those areas where I'd put that sewing pattern paper, because I want that texture to be picked up some with those drips. So, and I'm trying real hard not to get a whole lot of that on the other page behind it, because that is a completed page. So I will pull in, I think, another piece of tracing paper to back my, to back that and try to protect everything. All right, so I will dry this now, and there's chalk paint and drip done. But I want to go ahead and bring in my magazine as well. So I grab that picture from a magazine. If you've never tried a packing tape transfer, they're super easy, y'all. It's kind of like the matte gel transfers, but with a little twist. So I decided to go with the more expensive Scotch packing tape I've got here. And y'all, look, I'm trying to peel it up, and I didn't even realize I hadn't even taken the packing off the packing tape. So once I get that off, it's a little bit easier. And I'm sticking it straight onto my magazine image. It wasn't exactly where I wanted it, and I tried to peel it up, but y'all, it was already stuck. So the other packing tape I had is just some Dollar Tree stuff, and I decided against that one because I wanted to use this image so much that I didn't want it to fail. But this does some weird things with this more expensive stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do once I get all that trimmed down is to burnish it. I'm using a bone folder, but you could use whatever, a credit card or the back of a pen or whatever. A popsicle stick would work too. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to trim this down a little bit more, and then I go get some water. And I'm using warm water. For me, it just feels better to have warm water. I don't know why. And I'm putting my nonstick craft sheet down just to have something that's going to catch these bits of paper that I'm going to be pulling up, so that's easier to clean up. Once that is wet, and I'm mostly trying to wet, when I wet that, not the packing tape side, the magazine side. And I'm going to take a little bit of time and just rub that paper off. And do it carefully and try not to rub it too hard because you can rub the image off. But basically, you're transferring the ink from the magazine onto your tape. That's all it is. So it takes a little bit of time. I did speed this up a bit so you can see me do it, but it's not in real time. Now, like I said, this tape was kind of weird. A lot of times when you do a packing tape transfer, the tape tends to stay sticky. I don't know if I didn't get enough of the paper up or if this packing tape itself is a little weird. But yeah, so it did not stay sticky. But I'm pretty happy with that transfer. I'm looking at it. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it down because it's wider than I need. And for a while, I thought I was just going to use the image of the girl, but I'll end up bringing the image of the guy back in a little bit. So there she is. The benefit of a packing tape transfer like this is that it becomes kind of transparent. Like the white edges of it and all of that become transparent. You get to use your image. It's just kind of a neat way to use it. All right, so here is some chalk, and I am going to put it down in a couple areas that don't have quite enough interest in them, and then I will grab my Payne's Gray acrylic ink. This is, I think it's Daler Rowney's FW brand. And I'm just going to drip some of it onto where I put that chalk because I'm going to try that effect that I got in Monday's card where I got the granulated effect. So, yeah, there's more drips, more chalk. I'm using my distress sprayer to spritz some of that spritz some of that ink out and move it around. Now, the granulation here was not evident immediately, but it does, as it moves and as I dry it, it becomes very evident. And y'all, it worked. It worked a second time with a different ink on a different page. This is something, if you like this effect and this kind of grungy inkiness, try it. Get some basic chalk. I don't know where you can find chalk anymore. I'm not sure where mine came from, but I'm sure craft stores or I haven't seen it at the dollar store, but I'm sure you can find chalk somewhere. Get it online. All right, so you can see I'm moving some of that ink around, just trying to get some of that color, that Payne's Gray in different areas of the page, just so that it's not so concentrated. I wanted it kind of going off the edges. And now I'm going to try it, and look, y'all, now that it's dry, I'm testing it. But can you see that granulation? You'll see it definitely at the end, but yeah, I was super tickled with that. Super tickled. And I'm just feeling around, making sure that's all dry, it's not moving. And then I decided to bring the chalk in again and accent more of that texture from the sewing pattern. So yeah, that's getting a little bit of extra bump. And that chalk may not stay because, again, it's just basic, boring chalk. It may brush off later. All right, there is that. So I've got my image there and I move her around. I edited some of that out. So I'm going to bring chalk in another way, and this is chalk, some more of that chalk paint. This is the white, and y'all, I am so tickled with how this came together. So I got a little bit out in my palette knife, and I'm going to water it down and do some splatters.
These are some of the best opaque splatters I think I've ever gotten. Gesso hasn't done this, but the only thing that's ever done this for me is a paint pen. And yeah, I got it all over me. You can see it all over my fingers. But when I do these splatters, they I was like, yeah, they'll dry. They won't be as obvious. No, y'all, these are some of the best opaque splatters I've ever gotten. So I am highly advocating the chalk paint. I am really, really tickled that I pulled it out and tried it again. And I'm hoping that I can try to remember that. That when I want some white splatters to maybe go with the chalk paint. So, like I said, my packing tape transfer lost its stickiness, so I'm using that matte medium again to stick down my transfer. And I stick her down, and she's not exactly where I want her, so I'm going to end up peeling her up real quick and moving her over because her eyes kind of, do you see that her eyes are kind of lost there? And I didn't completely want that, so I very carefully peel her up. I did pick up some of that Sears and Roebuck catalog, but it's okay. So there, her eyes are a little bit more obvious there. But can you see where you can see all of the text and the mark making and all of that kind of in the background, even on her face and everything? And I was loving it. All right, y'all, something happened here. I don't know what, where the color balance got like way off. And I am so sorry. This next while of this video is going to be weird. This is some Ranger opaque texture paste crackle. So it's crackle paste that I have decided to put on the page. I mostly wanted to help frame up some of her image because you could see the edges of the packing tape and I wasn't sure quite what I wanted to do with that. So I'm using the crackle to kind of help disguise it a little bit. Now this I'm going to go ahead and tell you when it dries, it doesn't really, the crackle doesn't really stick to the packing tape because the packing tape has that super slick surface. So perhaps a gel medium transfer would have worked better with the magazine than the packing tape when it comes to this, but it's okay. So anyway, once I got her down, I thought, you know what? I've got that dude sitting over there. He's all lonely. Why don't I go ahead and bring him in and use him? Because I'm gonna forget I have him anyway if I leave him lingering on my desk. So I'll stick him down as well and add a little bit more crackle in addition. And you can see how the back of him is kind of a frosty white. I think maybe I didn't get all the paper up when I was rubbing it, but I was trying not to take the image up. So maybe that's why it didn't get sticky, like why the sticky isn't there. That would be my bad, but whatever. All right, so did I say that already? I use the the matte medium to stick him down, and I'll bring that crackle paste in again just to go over some of his edges like I did hers. And then I'm going to walk away for a little while because crackle paste does best when it is left to air dry. You can try heat drying it, but it just doesn't crackle the same way. So I stepped away and worked on something else and came back and had some awesome crackle. But as I mess with it, it starts flaking off. All right, so this is more acrylic ink. This is my gold that is almost empty. I already have a new one, but I'm trying to get every little bit of this one out that I can. So I added a little bit more water to it, shook it up, and then I'm just going to use, because there's a bunch around the edge I couldn't seem to get up, I'm just using that eyedropper portion of it to make some circles. I felt like I needed a pop of something on this page that wasn't the blue grays. And so yeah, I decided to use this gold. It's sitting on my desk. It needed to be used. So yeah. I am going to spray it to see if I can get it to drip a little bit to continue that prompt, but it doesn't move. Yeah. So I just dab up the water and I'll dry it. And I think in here is where I start to realize that all of that crackle that was on the packing tape was coming off. So I grabbed a little bit more of that white chalk paint and went over some of the edges of my packing. You see where it flaked up right there? Yeah. But that chalk paint did great to kind of help blend that in a little bit to come back in. So I'm looking at it, and I think I decided here all I needed really was a word, and I can't remember, or a sentiment, and I think it says young and wild and free or something. And because these are just kind of young folks, I thought that was perfect, and I stick that down. And that's it, y'all, for my mixed media prompt project number 27. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope you go out and experiment with some of the prompts and play along. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and come back Monday and see what next week's prompts are. All right, y'all, I will see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.